Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for you. Know that energy is fluid. Roles can be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they played as karmic themes to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. Just want you to know I just ran around for like 2 hours freaking out that I lost my phone. When you know what happened? I made my bed with the phone in it. It's like, talk about needing grounding, right? It's like a trauma response is always when you're thinking about what needs to happen next and you're not really present in the moment. That's what I noticed how it plays out within my life a lot. It's how I get my own way a lot. It was like 2 hours. I almost gave myself a heart attack. And I'm like, and I fucking made the bed with it. It was like that. And of course I didn't remember to turn my, where's my, stuff. Because when it's Mac, when it's an iPhone, you can do that. But grounding is very essential when you're trying to manifest because only in the now do you get divine guidance, right? Through gut, intuition, inner knowing. So anxiety and means that you're trying to figure out things in advance and of course you don't have the answers, right? So this is when spirit always says you need to surrender. Remember, you can't control what's going to happen in the environment, you can only control yourself. So the anxiety comes from remembering that you couldn't, right? So to really heal, it's not just about healing the mind, but it's to recondition the body. And that's through reconditioning the nervous system. Otherwise, what you'll notice is my mind knows, but my body doesn't. And is understand it's how long you lived around a person that created that, or how long you lived in an environment, and the world. I mean, the world is really like, I read this horrible thing on Facebook about back in, I think it was the 80s. Somebody buried a school bus full of children in it in California. I mean, they escaped, but that type of trauma, they were like, oh, they'll get over it. No, they did studies and no one got over it because you don't get over it until you actually integrate the spiritual lesson. That's why a lot of times you see people that lived in horrific times of war, it's like they'll see that they lived through more than one war. We see that over in Gaza, we see that over in Israel, we see that in other places of the world. So again, that trauma, and when you're born into that collective covenant, and collective covenant is when there's bloodshed on land, well, who do you think is paying for the karma? We are. And that's what you see. That's part of the spiritual war on consciousness right now. I mean, it's horrific. I have a client that's family is from Gaza, and the fear, and I'm not taking sides or whatever. I'm just saying, I mean, we could be human. We can be human and have empathy for each and every one of us. Again, we're down here to remember that we're not separate from our creator. Our creative energy is the energy of unconditional love. It's not that. It's not when greed takes over. And to me, land, money, those things can be replaced, but people can't. So we've come to a place within our evolution that we have to heal the effects of trauma, and not just our own trauma, but what we've inherited collectively. And we don't talk about that as a society, but you better believe that society utilizes what they know to manipulate you. And that's through what you see. It's again, when you're working a job and you're barely making enough to survive, when you're living a narrative because the world has shaped it that way, the only out that you have is to tap into your spiritual sovereignty and to realize that that's your natural God-given energy. But if they take it away from you because you don't believe that you can, because again, you've been living a narrative for a long period of time, then it's just been easy to give it up. And then, then you're not living a happy life. So understand there's many different realities that play out at one time. You get to choose the reality that you want to live. That's when one day heaven will be on earth, when we all can choose for ourselves the type of reality that we want to live and know how to obtain that, right? Because it's integrating the spiritual lesson. So I just want you guys to know, do you know the difference between alchemy and transmutation? Yeah, I say those words a lot. Well, alchemy is all about the changing, right? You cannot take something without putting something in its place. And so then there's the transmutation part, which is that emotional energy. Is the emotional energy that is the creative energy. So it's doing something with body and mind. Again, the emotions I consider the body and the mind. Notice how I said body here? It's like detachment. All right. Let's jump in and let's see the energy that you need to look at just for you. Just for you. Sometimes a person bleeds in, or another situation if someone's very compulsive and you feel like, well, nothing's really happening, where you're like, nothing's really dictating your energy. If someone is so compulsive about you, it's almost like a coding of that person, and their intention can come over you, believe it or not. I have had that happen. I've had people have that happen. That's just like when you go in and you get a reading and you're like, that didn't really resonate with me. I feel like that was somebody else's reading. Or you could see that it was your sister's reading, or your brother's reading, or your mother's reading, someone that's close to you, that influences you. That's why you really have to use discernment. And as you know, I always pull from a lot of different decks because I like to get different perception, different energy. Let's see. Okay. All right. Miracle. Release your power. And then joy. Divine intelligence. Evolution. Oh, I like it. It's like, I can't wait. Okay. And then work through your fears. A new romantic cycle begins. A time to give rather than receive. Travel. And then spirit saying is abundant. And so what you're healing right now is abuse, humiliation, inner child wound, and worthlessness wound. Wow. So that's why that's so good. So spirit says you're in a time of healing, though you may feel like, no, I'm not, nothing's happening. And spirit's saying it's not that you're not getting triggered. When you feel worthless, you feel not good enough, like you don't have enough, always coming from a place of lack. That's the inner child wound. And when I say that, it's like when you were brought up in an environment to make you feel that way. And so you were born into an environment where like you were criticized a lot and like maybe shamed a lot. And so when that happens, and a parent tends to project their wounds onto their children, because that's usually why that happens. There's a sense of playing like lowering yourself, like smalling, like this smalling. Listen to me, making yourself smaller. Because of humiliation, that's the abuse. And it didn't happen once, it was over and over and over again. So you were brought up with a parent that was just psychologically and emotionally abusive to you, where you felt worthless. You were made to feel like there was something wrong with you. And that's, like I said, it's abusive. And we have to say that it's abuse because psychological and emotional, um, where every time you're dealing with a person, or it's like it happens like randomly, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So you're just always on guard. You're living in a place of hypervigilance. You're conditioning yourself to think about what's going to happen in the future before it actually happens in the future, because again, you're dealing with like a ticking time bomb. You don't know what's going to happen. So it's just a child's way to try to defend themselves. And so they're no longer present. They're no longer, that's an issue. When a child feels humiliated and feels like they're worthless, well, they make themselves small. They hide. It's like because they don't know what else to do, and it's a way that the parent neglects them. So it's big time. It's big time, and it's going to affect abundance. You better believe it's going to affect money, because money has no energy except for the energy that you give it. And so Spirit's saying, but again, money has no energy except for the energy that you give it. If you're not living with that parent anymore and you're not around that, we have to say what are the spiritual blockages, because there's habits and behaviorisms that you're doing that is in alignment with being worthless, like worthlessness, whatever the word is. And like again, playing small. And Spirit says that's the opposite of abundance. You're supposed to be walking into a place of abundance. This is evolution. And yes, you are tapping also into the higher self. The higher self is the God part of self. That's divine intelligence. So the child that survives thrives. And they thrive because they learned already through living in a karmic environment. And so Spirit's saying that's the divine intelligence. God is all knowing. We tend to not be. We get stuck in a limitation, a mindset. You were that way for a long period of time, Spirit's saying. And so what you've learned is that in order to get what you want, there is a sense of needing to give. So if there's a job, if there's an opportunity, it's like you have to seize the day, carpe diem. Because if you played small, Spirit says, you're down there to see you're not separate from me, and I'm not small, God says. I'm abundance. I'm all knowing. I am like great, God says. I don't play small because I'm everywhere. I'm omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscience, which means I'm inside of you, and you are all those things. So you have to step into that. And that is by like showing, and it is you're in alignment with your joy. And Spirit's saying, like, yes, you have to walk through the fear. Like, it's not, people think that, oh, healing, I just healed. Spirit says, no, you get the same situation over and over and over and over and over again until you handle it differently. It's like, otherwise, you don't break the karmic cycle. It just might be with different people, different scenarios, but it's always the same karmic theme that makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. And God says, I'm not that. And you're me. You're down there to learn that you're not separate from me, but you're stuck in a limited perception. And so the Spirit says that, like, it's there. It's like, release your power already. You're a strong person. Step into it. People like you. You don't like you. That's again when you were humiliated then under and you played small, there's a sense of not believing in yourself, not trusting yourself, giving off that vibe, maybe saying one thing but giving off a different vibe. So God says it's a walk. How do I change your mind and your heart about how you see yourself? It's through you seeing yourself differently, but it's a co-creation process. The illusion is that there's separation because you're not in charge of how you get to your destination. So thinking about something in advance is only going to recreate the past instead of being in the present moment, being in the now to retain that divine intelligence, which is your higher self, which is that God part of self. So Spirit's saying, you release your power. Then it's like, oh, then you see the miracles happening. It's like it's going to seem like a miracle, but it's not really a miracle. It's your birthright, is what Spirit's saying. It's your birthright. Like, we grow up in a society that makes us perceive that you can't have that, only certain people can have that. And Spirit says, and that's the issue. You not knowing who you are, and then your parents maybe not knowing who they are, and then living from that perception, and then getting victimized and humiliated, and then being so angry that hurt people, is what Spirit says. This is what ancestral karma is. This is what happens. It's like the environment created that, and there was no spiritual knowledge. And so Spirit says that's the issue. So to truly honor the source of your being, you have to live in the flow of your heart. And that means I'm giving and receiving of love through my free will. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about my life. When you are, then you never give too much of yourself. So I feel like, being that you're like in this energy of evolution, where maybe this person that you were connected to isn't even around, and you're putting the energy into yourself, and Spirit says, and this is why you're going to see a different version of yourself. This is why. And that's going to eventually lead you to travel, because new opportunities. God doesn't just work through you through gut intuition and your knowing. It works through your environment. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. You need to surrender to the process. You need to just be in the flow. And the flow of the universe is in the flow of what you're passionate about, because it's the same energy as unconditional love. So to obtain it, you must embody it. And that's really what Spirit's saying. The travel and that, and the source will. So Spirit says it's a time. So I feel like you're putting your energy into yourself, and things are eventually going to come into fruition for you. Don't abandon yourself. Don't judge your process. Don't get like overly nervous. It's time to like also get out in nature, Spirit's saying. I could have sworn I saw nature. Did I see nature? Yes. Like Spirit saying nature. It's because it's grounding. Otherwise you're going to be worried, and when you're nervous about something and you want it to come into fruition, there's a tendency to stare at it, and it's like watching water boil. It's like it doesn't seem to happen, and then because you're so focused on that, you're not in the present moment. And Spirit's saying, and that's what creates a lot of emotional turmoil that doesn't need to be there. So understand that, yes, part of the healing is to surrender. It's a second chakra issue. If you were made to feel humiliated and placed small, there's this sense of, I need to control my environment because I'm not safe. And God says that's out of alignment with, again, the laws of the universe. You have to be able to go with the flow of life. That's through the passion for life. That's where the birthing center is. That's when you're manifesting, and that's also when you're connecting to other relationships. Again, that's when the student's ready, the teacher appears. Spirit's saying, I'm going to bring you the right people and the right situations and the right experiences, after a process of learning a lot of times of what doesn't work, and that's why you always have to come from a place of balance. And Spirit saying, and you got that. This is healing the old version of yourself. And that's why it's a big transformational moment. And so when we say, oh, a new romantic cycle begins, let's see whether or not it's that person. But you can be sure that whenever good things are happening, it brings out the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just so you know. So you'll be like, oh, I'm having a great time. Spirit says a lot of times, don't let anyone take you off your happiness. Allow yourself to have the happiness. You don't need to, a lot of times, make a decision. Make that person, it's like being so accommodating. Remember, if we were made to feel like we were worthless and humiliated, well, then there's just a sense of tending to like be overstimulated and possibly doing what someone else wants you to do. The Spirit says, remember, this is your time. Don't rush into anything. Because when we see what what is like the previous person, we will ask. If there's is a new person, we'll see. This is the end. So I feel like this person knows that it's the end. And it's like they know that it's the end because life is happening for you. Like you said, things are going to happen for you. And this person has not come back. I am intimidated by you. So it's like right now, I feel like this person doesn't think that they're going to come back. And it's because, hey, they already see the focus is on what you're doing, that their little games didn't really intimidate you. You're not giving them any energy, and they do stalk you from afar, but I feel like it's because they're curious. Is their feelings? Yes, but I feel like this person's pride is what it is. It's like, well, I can't really go back. You like this person is obsessive. You're always on their mind. However, um, friends and family like disapprove of this person actually. So this person might be with somebody else is like the energy. And so because I don't think that anyone's really met you, and so if no one's met you, this is the reason why that they're still connected to someone else. And I think that they don't really want to like fully break up their family, and they don't and their family doesn't want them to break up their family. um you are the first person of my dreams. So this person is like living with somebody else and not fulfilled at all. So there's a spiritual connection to you, but they are not strong enough to like do what they want to do. Now, I'm going to say that because this person's living detached. They're there with that person, but they're not there on an emotional level. If they're thinking about you first thing in the morning, you're the person of their dreams. They're checking on you, stalking you from Facebook and from other things. They're living detached. They're not living the life that they want to live. They're connected to somebody that they don't really want to be with. So we ask again what the issue, and it's because this person has a lot of like they have a lot of burdens. I feel like there's a part of this person that if they get out of that connection, it's like they're not going to be able to support themselves because they might have children, they have other responsibilities, and the baggage is just like I said, responsibilities. And here it is, you're moving into the next phase of your life. And this person is just bogged down with problems. And so you intimidate them because what you're doing is you're saying, I don't have to live the reality that you wanted for me. You're with somebody else that you don't even want to be with, that you said that you were going to get out of that. I feel like this person wanted to, but that person that's connected to them does not want them to. And I feel like their family does not want them to. And their friends don't want them to because they must be benefiting on some level. So what it is, this person is in a place of real like they're just like in a bad way because like I said, they didn't take this opportunity, and that's the thing. And now what it is, they're burdened because I feel like they were going to get out of their situation with whoever that they were with. And I feel like that person that they were connected to either lied to them, did something, got other people involved, and like where this person agreed to stay for a certain amount of time. And now what they see is they don't have the money to actually leave because that karmic was draining them of their money. It was like, oh, we'll just stay for a little longer. You need to help me. You need to help me. But it was their whole family did not want them. They had like they recruited a lot of people to make this person stay stuck. So it's like what the karmic sees is I won, but I really didn't win because the person that I'm with is not, giving them the attention. I feel like this karmic thought that they were going to take your place. And then, now that they see that they couldn't really they couldn't really manipulate, right? They couldn't really manipulate this person that they're with, because the person's like there, but they're not happy. They're not happy. That And you can always tell when your person's not like physical, like emotionally there. And so what it is that that karmic is like, well, I'm gonna like make sure that it's like I'm gonna make sure that they can't say anything, like I'm going to censor them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and trigger the person that's connected. Someone's waiting. So that karmic is like, oh, someone's waiting for you and you want to leave to be with them. Oh, okay. So I'm going to keep you stuck. I'm going to recruit every single person that I know, family, friends, whoever, to guilt you, to manipulate you into staying for a certain amount of time so I can drain all your money. And so it's going to look like that this person chose to stay with me because I always win. So it's like that karmic doesn't really love this person. They like owning that person. And this person has not lived a life where they love. Again, they're being constrained. They played mind games. They want to change. That karmic's changing the narrative. It's like, but it's like in the you changing the narrative, it's not like you're getting what you want. What's happening now is the person that's connected to you, that's stalking you, is like their eyes are getting real wide now, being like, who the hell is this person? Who the hell is this person? And some of you might have even warned them, like, hey, listen, no one stays in a relationship with someone that cheats on them all the time. That doesn't want to be there, you know, unless they, are benefiting from it. And that's the thing. Yeah, like this karmic is holding it all together. Holding it all together. So they're trying to make it look like it looks okay from the outside, but really from the inside, the shit's falling apart. Shit's getting real because that karmic is pissed because it's like you're here, but you're not here. Like at this point, you should have given in to me. You should have caved. I've done everything. And that person is like, you sure did. You sure did, because now I feel like this person feels like they don't have any friends. They don't have anyone to like talk to. They're stuck in this situation, which they're not stuck. They can get out, but it's like they don't, obviously, this person doesn't have a very high self-esteem. So whatever this person did to you, they're getting back. What comes around goes around. And this person never believed in karma before, but hell, they believe in karma now because they're like, you're their soulmate. And that what it is that karmic every day is saying, oh, listen, you stayed here. You think that person wanted to like, is going to sit there and wait for you when they know that you've been here the whole time giving to me. Oh, you screwed up that relationship. Like, so this karmic is like telling them off. And now this person's like paranoid about what you're going to say. Because the karmic is like trying to make this person not come to you. Because, hey, did they know you're going to take them back? They don't know. They're terrified that you will. But the only way is to gaslight this person, is to manipulate them, is to be like, oh, like beat them down every day, tell them like how pathetic they are, how you're not going to like them, how you abandoned them, how not you abandoned them, they abandoned you, and how like making this person feel like God is like, I stayed here to help you out because I was manipulated, and now I don't have anything. You took my money, you took everything, and now I can't really come back to you because this person did put that karmic as a priority. So that's the issue. And they see, oh, you're moving on. You're not going to put up with me. I'm going to tell you that I like got stuck with a karmic. You're going to be like, you're a loser. Like you couldn't get out of that situation. Like, what's wrong with you? You're going to tell me no. That's what you're going to do. And then I'm going to, and if anything, we're going to like, that like because there was such a connection, this person was supposed to be with you, there's still passion there, there's still, But, you know, in that, it's like they didn't feed it. So there's a lot of like negative energy. You know, that's what this person knows. It's like because they didn't do it right. So they're like, you're moving on. It's like it's this person's karma. And it's not just this person's karma to deal with the fact that they lost what made them feel like home, but this karmic is ruining their life. It's an embarrassment because it's karmic. It's like, oh, like they've destroyed their life because they're like still not getting what they want. Like they didn't want to just make this person not come to you. They wanted their place back. They were like, you were with me at one time. It's like, I don't just want the money. Now you're gonna leave me, and what's that? Where this person felt obligated because they were like, I was with you, you know, you like they might have kids, whatever the issue was. Again, built the business, owned a house, did whatever. I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of. This is what your person was like before I leave you. And that karmic played on it, was like, yep, again, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And months, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. And then before this person knew it, they're like, it never ends. My money is being drained. I don't have anything. I was trying to be nice because this karmic was playing the game. And so now they're like, I can't, how can I repair things with you? They can't because they have absolutely nothing to give to you. And there's a sense that, you know, that karmic saying, oh, you're going to go back to them? Oh, they're not going to take you back. They're not going to take you back. So this person just stays there stalking and not really knowing what to do. Again, they feel like they sacrificed. You know, it's like there's a part of them that's like, they're like a martyr, you know, like they gave up, and they gave up because that karmic beat them down and beat them down and beat them down and beat them down, and this person's stalking you and they're saying you moved on. How are you going to take them back? You're not going to take them back. So that's why Spirit's saying it's time for you to step into your new life. It's time for you to step into your new life. It's like this person does care, but now we have to say, well, does that mean that somebody new is coming into your life? Because this person is not. And I bet you that changes the dynamic of the connection, right? Let's see. I mean, it sometimes it calls for it. So, you know, like we have to see. I mean, just because it's not, you know, it's not part of the shadow, but it's like, well, I thought that it was this person. And Spirit says, no, you get somebody else. Now, I want to then see if it affects this person. So it is someone maybe that you met already, is what Spirit's saying, but more like in passing. Yeah, so Spirit's saying, yeah, it's someone that in passing, or someone that knows someone that you met in passing. And Spirit says that it's a new lover. And I feel like, do you have strong feelings for this person? I feel like there's still a connection to that old person. And I think it's because when you really thought that you were going to be with this person really thought that they were going to be with you too. Like, and so I think it's you like still getting accustomed to that. And with this person, this new person, are they genuine? Spirit says yes, but they also are coming from like not a good situation, like a divorce or a breakup is what Spirit's saying. So it's somebody that you met before that or a friend of a friend that you met before, and it does have a good potential. It does have good potential. However, Spirit's saying, do not rush into the relationship. Don't make the same mistake. You have an opportunity to do things differently. But, you know, and I say that only because this person does have a tendency also to be, you know, not 100% secure in who they are because they're getting out of a bad situation. is what Spirit's saying. It's like, so, um, and that's when someone doesn't step it up to twin flame level, which this person was supposed to, then Spirit, the universe brings in somebody else, like, which is of equivalent value, meaning like, well, they're going to get the same lessons. So that this person now, once you're left and they see that somebody new comes in your life, because remember, this person's stalking. That's what they're doing. They're living detached. They're living with somebody that they don't want to be with, that's controlling their life while stalking you. They all of a sudden start seeing that somebody else comes into your life. And I'm just curious, does that light a fire underneath this person's ass? And the Spirit says, yes. It's like, oh, like, because now it's like everything that they saw you as somebody that's balanced, someone that's like very nurturing, very loving, someone that's very, again, ethical and helpful and just like generous, again, with your time and your energy. You're going to be giving all that deliciousness to someone else. And that is going to make this person, very become like a little bit like irritated, obviously, a little bit like rebellious, like a little bit like it brings out their insecure, but in a way that lights a fire underneath their ass, is what Spirit says. Where, and the fact that they're seeing like you move into a better place of abundance, it's going to trigger their ego and their pride, and understand there is like ancestral karma that needs to be cleared, where this person would never come back or do anything because, like I said, they have a very low self-esteem. They've been around that karmic every day, telling them what a piece of crap that they are every day, every day, every day, and being like, you blew it already with this person. They're never going to come back. You can never fix it. So Spirit's saying their ego has to be triggered. Like they have to like get irritated in the fact like they see you with someone else, because right now they're like kind of in denial, is what Spirit's saying, which is, you've moved on, I can't fix it, woe is me, I'm the martyr, I stayed at least to do this, and they're just giving up, which is what the karmic wants. But God does not want this person to stay with that karmic. And I say that doesn't mean that God would want you to take them back, but wants them to like get healthy to a place of out of captivity, because almost like this person is like being restrained, held against their will, like they don't want to be there. And so Spirit says, so it's their pride, it's their ego. It's like, because that's the thing, their ego is actually what's keeping them stuck. So Spirit says, I can make that ego work the other way too, where it's like they're not going to be able to deal with it. And so this person's going to come back in the spring. And that's the thing. It's like this person does not, I feel like they are going to break away. But again, there's a part of this person that feels like a little bit of a lone wolf. What you see is like they're just going to leave. It's going to be fast, swift. It's going to be like one day they're like, I'm out. And that karmic's going to be like, what? And they're like, I'm out. I can't take it anymore. And I feel like it's going to be by the spring. So where it says, yeah, 3 to 6 months. And that they're making their way come back, because it is like, if you ask, there is unconditional love. They do want romance, but it's like, the thing is, there's somebody else. Because it's like Spirit saying, well, someone else is there. And so you say, well, why would God do that? And Spirit says they have to fight. They wanted to put you in that energy a little bit. So now they get to see the shoe on the other foot. Are they going to fight for you? They wanted you to fight for them. And it would have not turned into anything. It's like they gave you no choice. They did that to themselves. It's like part of them going through it is to see what it feels like and to like never do it again. And also to open up their heart Because it's like, oh, well, you're going to have to come in and offer a lot more than what you like were planning on if you're going to win this person over. Because now they have somebody, is what Spirit's saying. It's like, you're not going to stay in a place where you outsmart me, God says. That doesn't happen. Like, it's like you think that you're being all smart like that, being, oh, poor me. I'm going to show you. Spirit says it's like because you had a choice to get out of that. And so Spirit's saying it's like, again, it becomes the energy shifts. It's like they're going to triumph over evil. Like that's what it's like. It's like it's an opportunity to overcome that wound, is what Spirit says, because they wouldn't do it any other way, is what Spirit said. So I had to bring someone else into your life. So you're like, so you ruin that person's life, and Spirit says, well, they're on the equal value. They're equal value, which means, are they giving enough? Not really, the new person. Because they just got out of something. So they really shouldn't even have come into a relationship without healing themselves, Spirit says. This person's actually going to come back and they're going to be on a higher level because they did what they needed to do. And it doesn't mean that you need to be with this person. Spirit's just saying things are getting exciting, aren't they? Grab your popcorn. It's like now you get to be on the other side of it. And you're like, nah, I don't want to be part of this. And Spirit says, oh, but you will, because there's satisfaction in it. It's like you have to see yourself differently. It's again where, oh, I'm attractive. I'm a good catch. Look, a lot of people like me. And Spirit says, that's right. It's like, know your value. It's like this person's learning what your value is. But that's because they don't know their own value. So they're learning their own value because remember, they were connected to like some crazy person that needs to heal. Because who wants to keep someone in captivity? Except for that movie. What was that movie with Kathy Bates? Where like she like kidnapped that guy and pretended to heal him, and then when he tried to leave, she broke his foot with a sledgehammer, and she would, and he was a writer or something. She wanted him to write books, more books. Misery. It was Misery, like that. It's like this is like she's crazy, and that's what happens when you're trying to control somebody. When you're trying to control somebody, that karmic is putting all their time, all their energy, all their focus, into like keeping that person stuck. They weren't paying attention that they exposed themselves. So that's the thing that like, it's almost like this person's like, listen, it's the ending of that relationship with the karmic. This person doesn't know whether it's the ending with you, but they're not. It's almost like they get so uncomfortable because someone else comes into your life that they don't really even know that they're leaving when they leave. It's almost like they're like, I can't take it anymore. And they come back because they're like, it's either it's over with us or it's not, but I'm going to try. So all of a sudden they become heroic, is what Spirit's saying. It's like, isn't this exciting? Like Spirit says, now let's see if I do this, like Spirit's continually doing things to make people change. Otherwise we wouldn't do it. We're focused on what we want, not focused on the fear of it. And Spirit says, I trick you. Only I can change your mind and your heart about bringing you people, situations, and experiences that make you change. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. This person wouldn't do it. That karmic has been beating them down for years, which is why, it was easy for them to get manipulated. And Spirit says, yeah, like they have problems now. It's again, that's really what it is. And they're trying to work it out. Things became out of control. And so it's like, that's what's going on. And so Spirit's saying, oh, well, they're going to come back, but there's going to be somebody else. You're supposed to date that somebody else, but you won't really like them. You're going to try to like them because you're going to be like, I want to go out. I just don't want to be in this energy anymore. And Spirit says, and you might even date a few people. It's again, because this person's not getting out of their situation any too soon. And Spirit says, I have to, again, they have to feel the pain of it. They have to see that, they have to, otherwise they wouldn't change. But you're supposed to be doing something at this time. You're healing. Because Spirit says, I don't really care whether they take this person back or not. Because guess what? If this person doesn't work and this person doesn't work, I got somebody else. And I always have somebody else until you evolve into your higher state of consciousness so that you can heal, so that you can manifest, Spirit saying. But you have to also like do things for yourself, is what Spirit's saying. So I'm still curious, like if we can look at like just a few more, like just random cards about this person, because I almost feel like that previous person, like there's not much to talk about. It's like the person serves a purpose. Like almost they come back, they come into your life to like put a fire underneath this person's ass. It's like, because I almost feel like their energy is they're still like caught up in whatever. And that, oh, so what happens is that I feel like this person comes into your life like from the past, and then that new person, like they don't stick around because they can feel like there's still something, or that you're not giving to them on the way that they want, because hey, they're going through shit, so they want somebody to nurture them, to be there for them, again, someone on the same or equal value. And Spirit saying, and you don't really have it in you to like do that, and they're like, and they can sense it, that hey, you must be like still attached to somebody, is that. And it's because this person is going to ask you, do you want to meet up with me? They're trying to like figure things out by writing. They're changing themselves, they're changing their habits, which are just inherited traits. I feel like they grew up in ancestral karma, which explains the codependency, which explains the low self-esteem, right? Divine timings at play. This person is coming back. No one else makes me feel the way that you do. And so they are coming back. It's the old person that's coming back. But I feel like you're going to be dating a lot of people. And Spirit says, oh, well, you're going to be dating a lot of people. You're going to be in a very good energy when this person comes back. And because understand, you might be like, well, why are they going to come back now? And Spirit says, well, your life is like good. You're not affected by it. Remember, there's opportunity that you have to step into now. Those beginning cards, which just were about your life right now, were beautiful. And it was like a time for transmutation, a time for alchemy, a time for change. And we explained again why that is. But when we look at your inner child wound cards, like I said, this person's coming back, but we have to say, what are you integrating? Well, we already know it was the unworthiness, the humiliation, and the inner child wounds. But can we be a little bit more specific, like with, well, and per se to what? Again, still not very, but the Spirit saying is it, well, there was trauma again, and we're going to talk about it. It's just belittling is a way of bullying. It's psychological, it's emotional, it's gaslighting, it's making a person feel like they're not in control of their life, that they can't control, that they can't trust themselves, that they devalue themselves. It's a way of oppression, is Spirit saying. So again, did the parent mean to do that? No, I feel like a lot of times it's the parents just frustrated with life and they don't mean to take it out on, but they're not happy in their own life. They needed healing. And that is what ancestral karma is, right? It's like when we inherit those coping mechanisms to deal with stress. And part of that is parent felt so bad about themselves, then, they take it out on their child. And sometimes it's they or parent that loves their child, but they're just so fearful because that's how they navigated their own life, full of anxiety, that now they're projecting all that onto you. So now you're not trusting yourself, and you inherited that because it's just you become a product of your environment. So Spirit says it's not really important what happens, but in this story, but we get caught up in the story of what happened. So we kind of want to put a story to it, not to blame, because we realize that our parents grew up during times that, collectively were messed up. I mean, look at history, just disgusting. And then, not being told about their spiritual sovereignty and coming from a place of fear and getting caught up in the rat race. And, the 70s and 80s were crazy times. It's like of almost like of America and other places trying to find themselves, and trying to come into their own. And it's very weird because the environment is always tends to, dictate the reality. And that's because it makes us feel a certain way. And in this instance, it made your parent just like have a lot of anxiety. And unfortunately, a lot of anxiety looks like rage. It's terrifying. Have you ever been around somebody that has like anxiety to the point that they're like, when they scream, they're getting so mad that you can see their face change and everything. It's like that's terror, that's fear. But it's almost like what that person will do because of it. It's terrifying to a child. So again, when the parent has that much rage, it's like they belittle. And then there's like growing up with a bully, psychologically damaging, and then the trauma replays with where you feel like, hey, like people come into my life and they bully me. They don't like me. And spirit says, you need to heal that. That's the evolution. Spirit says, it's gonna take boldness, but it's again, we're on it. This is what you're walking into. Abundance, money, stay focused, stay present, stay in the moment. Again, only in the now do you get divine guidance. Don't do my job, God says, do your job. Again, get the anchor. The anchor is the groundingness, the connection to the body, the physical world, your passions, your hobbies, your interests, other people, because we can't change the environment. We can only change ourselves by making sure that we have that support so that when things begin to change, we can go with the flow of life through the passions for life. And we keep our focus on the passion, Spirit says, not on other people's opinions, not on other people's narratives, not on maybe feeling unworthy, not good enough, and walking from that level. And no, it's walking into like, I'm a strong person. This is what Spirit says. So anchoring into yourself, lack of groundedness, because I got to figure out what's going to happen because of this energy. That's a bully right there. It's like that's what the like when rage and the trauma, but it's really again this energy bullying, belittling, making you feel inadequate, making you feel like there's something wrong with you. But again, when there's nothing wrong, but a parent will judge based on their own trauma and what they're perceiving in the environment. When they're not strong in themselves, then they're looking at you like you need to fit into some sort of box in order to make themselves feel adequate because they feel inadequate. And that's the thing. So it's the paranoia of you're going to suffer the same thing that I suffered, so I'm going to make sure that you don't. And then that's terrifying because it's like kid doesn't know, but the parent is stuck in their trauma, and it's the way that they were talked to. It's the way that they were meant to navigate their life. It's not a blame game, but we have to say, where did this come from? And the spirit says it's just ancestral karma. You grew up in ancestral karma, this person grew up in ancestral karma. It's again where you both felt inadequate, you both felt like there was something wrong, that you both felt like because of the fear and the anxiety. So you're born into covenants where there's vows, and that's when a parent talks to their partner really nasty and they talk to their children nasty. It's like, you're a piece of crap, you'll never amount to anything, there's something wrong with you. What are you, any slower you be going backwards? What do you can't see out of one eye? What my mother used to say, what are you, blind in one eye and can't see out of the other? She used to say, any slower you be going backwards all day and tomorrow to do nothing, farting around, like the way that she talked. the way that our parents talked because they had anxiety. It wasn't like one person, it was the time. They did not realize that when you're talking that way to your child, you're projecting vows, and that leads to covenants, and there's fragmentation there, and that's detachment. And that's, again, now I'm worried about what might happen, what could happen. You were wired in that type of environment. That person was also wired. It's very common. That's what a root chakra imbalance is. And what you see on the planet is the majority of people have root chakra imbalances. There's a disconnect from who they are because they were made to feel inadequate. They weren't allowed to find their unfoldment process, because if you were belittled and bullied, well, then obviously then we were worried about that. And so Spirit says, my mother was at least funny the way that she would do it. Where I see now a few friends of mine, their parent was not like that. Like when my mother would say these stupid things that it was like, what did she just say? Like, what are you, blind in one eye and can't see out of the other? Isn't that the same thing? Like, but just crazy. But even the way that they talk about themselves. Oh, I'm so stupid. Like, it's, again, you're putting that onto yourself. They didn't know. They didn't realize. It's like we say, we know that words are spells, but they don't think about it. And so it's this type of energy that keeps us stuck in a karmic loop. And we don't realize that we're the ones that are creating it. We're the ones that are keeping ourselves stuck. And so that's the thing, Spirit's saying. It's like they depend on friends too much. And then friends aren't really friends, there's frenemies. And so, because again, the environment that you grew up in was that, so there's always a sense of looking for it. Meaning, like, because it's a survival mechanism, I want to protect myself from that. But Spirit says, but then you're not creating yourself. And so you can understand why you would attract a person that has a low self-esteem, because they also grew up in that type of environment with someone that was rageful, someone that made them feel bad about themselves, someone that belittled them, which is what these karmic contracts are. They're in a karmic contract right now with a person that they're like, who the fuck is this person? Hello? It's like, I like, every day I see something more and more frightening, like where that was always there. This karmic pretended like everything was fine. They pretended to be the damsel in distress. They pretended to be that person, but they had agenda. So it's almost like this person was so guilted and feels so bad about themselves. That's the power that this karmic has over them. That's why they're in a contract, until they can say, I love myself and I'm deserving of more, and I'm deserving of the life that I want. Like, I did what I needed to do, and whatever the consequences are now, I'll take it. But I'm going to take my freedom, and that's what they will do. But they couldn't do it on their own. God said they needed a catalyst, otherwise they weren't moving. The fear of really you with someone else and getting attention from someone else, opposed to you just being by yourself. Like, you're by yourself, they could always lie and say, oh, eventually I'll get back. Maybe you won't date. Maybe you'll hold that space in my heart. What they needed to see is, no, I moved on. And now, if you're going to even think about coming back, you're going to have to really try hard. So then Spirit says, well, in the meantime, it's not just about you dating. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Second chakra imbalance means, again, still creating your life. You can date, but that's, also date. It's like, I'm not really committed to anyone. I'm just like seeing what's out there. And you can treat me nice. And if you don't treat me nice, then I'm not going to see you. And Spirit says, but you're supposed to still be working on yourself, because there is still wounding there. Like, not taking this person back allows you to pass the karmic test. Again, this person failed the karmic test, and they're feeling it. They're like, oh my God, my life. And Spirit says, so that's not what it is. It's about you going out into the unknown. Again, finding yourself. This is about you exploring other options. Again, it's why, because maybe to make it more difficult for this person to come back, see, do I really want you to come back? I might not. What are my options? Spirit says, you need to do that. Again, it's good karma for that person. Spirit's saying, it's like, make it difficult because you have to make that person open up their heart. Their heart was closed. That's how they learned how to survive with that karmic, you know? So Spirit says you have to evoke your curiosity, discover new aspects of life. If you grew up with a parent that was made you feel bad about yourself, made you feel unworthy, made you feel, Spirit says that you haven't found yourself enough. So you're judging yourself on your um, part of your life, but then a large part is shaded by what that parent told you, or again, the environment that you lived in, and that's not you. Those are shadows. So Spirit says you got to take a leap of faith, take it out of your comfort zone because risk is going to be rewarding. You don't know who you're going to meet. You know, it's not just that God works through you through God intuition and knowing, it works through your environment. So going out into the unknown, there's no perceptions. No one knows you. They're meeting you for who you are today and what you have to offer today. Spirit says this can allow you to see beyond the illusion, you know, and to discern what is truthful and what's not, even with this person, because you're not so close up to the picture. When we're really close up to the picture, you don't see the detail, right? But when you take a step back, your perception works real well because you're balanced. You're not, again, seeing only what you want to see. When we're so close up to the picture, that's what happens. Our eye goes to what we like and what we want. Again, here it's saying again, you're getting all the same things, which is like three cards of the same exact pretty much thing. Go into the unknown. It's again, go into the unknown, go into uncharted waters, take a leap of faith. Spirit says you don't know who you are. It's like you're looking at yourself still through so much of the past. And how can you make a decision on what you want or who you are unless you experience other things? You have to embody it to know, hey, I really do like this, or no, I always thought I'd like it, but I don't like it. That allows you to see beyond the illusion that you're so much more than what you are, and that there's really a lot of other opportunities. And you're going to meet people and situations and experiences that help you along your path. And that allows you to get to see who you truly are today. Again, we're seeing it again. Take a leap of faith that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Again, bold action. Again, leap of faith, uncharted waters, move into the unknown. You're going to see beyond the illusion because you're not the past. You are protected. You're divinely protected. And Spirit says it's about learning how to love yourself right now. And how can you love yourself if you don't even know who you are 100%? This person's busy. They have a big mess to clean up. It's like just because they come back doesn't mean that they're going to be 100% ready. You have to be like, again, life doesn't stop, especially if you want this person to move their ass. Otherwise, they're going to sit on their ass and they're lazy. It's like people move their ass when there's consequences. And that's the thing. I'm nervous. I'm hemming and I'm hawing. I don't know. Amazing how when we want something and then there's that risk of losing it, it's like, oh, no, I'm going to do everything that I can to get it. It's like, and that's why I'm saying, Spirit says, it's like people will treat you how you treat yourself. But if you don't know who you are 100%, you're still basing your life on previous experiences, you don't realize your habits and your behaviorisms are going to be more in alignment with those previous experiences, which means you'll give too much to people that don't deserve it. And that's it, like where this is about showing up for you, God says, not them. You have to say, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, and this is a new me, and it's going to be my way. And it's like, and it's just from embodying that. And the people that are supposed to be in your life will stay in your life. And the people that leave your life, well, guess what? Let them leave. Because Spirit says, this is about you moving into a better energy. You're evolving. That's how your reading started. That's why I was like, this is a great reading. And that's what's getting this person to move their ass, because you better believe they're like, oh, you're leaving me behind. I'm intimidated. What the hell? Who did I see? Well, what you saw was what that karmic told you to see. That's what happened. They didn't see what was really there. And that's what they're realizing. And that's why they're like, everything's the mask, it came off for that karmic. So they're in a big mess right now, because you better believe that karmic is pissed. They didn't mean to burn down the house. They just meant to burn the shoes in the bathtub, like Lisa Left Eye. Remember, she didn't want to burn down that guy's house. She was just trying to burn those expensive sneakers that he had in the bathtub. And she burnt the whole house down. And that's kind of like what this karmic did. They didn't really want to, like, they just wanted to hold them up. They wanted to, and this person just stayed so detached, stalking you and emotionally being like not there for this karmic. They got so mad. And Spirit says, now for you, in times of uncertainty, you ask God to guide you through the light in your being, that you're directed to doors that will open inner freedom to you, and step forward in trust and release your faith in God, and your faith will be rewarded. This is a time, again, that it's a faith walk. You know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's why you're going out into the unknown and you're exploring yourself. And Spirit says those doors are going to open. This is about you, not controlling, trying to control the outcome. You just finding yourself and not judging yourself on like what has happened, what did happen. Find yourself for who you are today. And then this way, when this person comes back, you can see whether or not you really want to be with this person, because they're not going to be the same person. And if you're fulfilled where you lived a good life and you did everything that you needed to do, you may give this person a chance, and you'll be able to, because you would never be codependent, and you can set boundaries. Or you could say, you know what, we've lived separate for so long, and I really don't see myself being with you. But you'll be good with your decision. Understand that. And this person, will they be hurt? Yeah, they'll be hurt, but they'll be able to bounce back, because they're not coming straight to you broken, because you're not doing that. You're not just taking them in broken. What you're doing is you're making them actually work to be in your life. And to work it within your life means that they have to raise their vibration, and that means that they have to become a better person. And when they do that, good results happen. It's not, people don't stay in the same energy. We can change the way people perceive us. It's where we put our energy every day. It's how we show up for ourselves every day. This person did not do that. It's like they showed up for somebody else. They played the martyr. They got tricked. They get bamboozled. And that's a sign that relationship was over for a long time. And that karmic has been playing that game for a long time. They just never saw this person like staying stuck, connected. Usually this person would eventually, give in to the karmic because of that. That didn't happen this time. And Spirit says it wasn't supposed to, because they had did enough healing, but they were suppressing themselves. And that karmic was like not really living their life. Their life was, my life is to control your life. You know what I mean? God says, a karmic contract ends eventually. That can't be forever. And remember, if it went on for a real long time, the ending of it is not pretty. It's going to be the biggest shit and mess that you've ever seen, because there's a lot of emotions behind that. And Spirit says, oh, they're going to be busy for a long time. Go out into the unknown, find yourself, have a love affair with yourself. Because believe me, this person will be stalking, and they won't be happy about the fact that you have all that, and that's their karma, because they could have actually been with you. And that's what they know. And trust me, they'll be comparing you to that karmic and comparing their life to yours. And that is what makes them actually rise to be a better person, to like, you're their muse. They're like, wow, it's like you didn't, like when that didn't work out. You didn't like flip out. You put your energy into yourself, and I'm the one that's suffering. Then that was a huge lesson for this person, trust me. Huge lesson. And for you, I think it made you into a stronger person because you're like, I will not tolerate that. You want to stay there, you can stay there. It's like, and what this person sees is, I didn't want to stay there. I was just trying to like accommodate. And that's the thing when we try to accommodate people that don't deserve it. And it's because they guilt us, they manipulate us. The consequence will always be the fact that you didn't choose yourself all the time. It's abandonment of self because it went on for too long, Spirit's saying. So that's why this person didn't learn what they're learning now. They will not be codependent when they come to you. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Let me know how you resonated. Until next time, you know the deal. Be true to you. Remember that. Spirit's inside of you. So you have to be true to you. Bye bye. Wherever that is.